Hey guys, thanks for watching my video. This would be the fourth video actually, and we're gonna start with um, the uh, the tape infrastructure. Um, Believe me or not, a lot of companies are still using it. So as you can see in this Veeam version 9.5. There are some improvement, and one of the improvement I want to talk about it. I'm not sure how the exam going to handle that in Veeam 9.0 when you are retrieving or restoring from the tape drive or from the tape. Basically, you have to have a staging area where you will save the data from the tape to that staging area through that folder, and then from that folder, you can do whatever you want to do. But so far, I have read in 9.5, like you can retrieve data directly. So that might contradict if you have that exam question. I don't know how long for Veeam to implement new features and into the exam. So basically, let's go back to our presentation actually, or recording. So here's a tape infrastructure, and when you click on tape infrastructure, you will see these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 options. Some of the options are good. You will use it, and some of the options you just need to know just for the test. So basically, right here, you can add a tape server and uh, it can basically like it says here, Veeam backup and replication can use any tape device connected to Microsoft Windows Server in your environment. So what they are saying is your tape drive has to be connected to the Windows Server environment, and to register a tape device at the server, it is connected to the tape server. During this process, tape proxy components are deployed to the selected server, which enable data exchange with the connected tape device, obviously. So if I click on this one, and this is the server I have it. I don't have any tape drive attached to it, but just for the heck of it, we're gonna see what does it do. So I'm gonna say add new. Oh, I'm sorry, add new. I don't have the IP address or anything, so I'm just gonna say, you know, let me cancel this thing, and let's see. Next, and basically it's asking for a network traffic rule control encryption and throttling of network traffic based on the destination. Throttling is global, with set bandwidth split equally across all backup proxies falling into the rule. So that's what they're talking about. Like if you have to, if you want to configure the network traffic rule, controls encryptions and throttling. Um, Click on let's see, click on here, and here's the managed network traffic rules. Um, so here you can actually define the source IP addresses and the target IP addresses range, and you can define which IP range. You can encrypt, and you can do the throttling. You can control, like, just like when you are downloading from the BitTorrent some files. Whenever you're downloading, by default it has to upload too. So like what we do is, like, we control the upload, like how much it can upload. So basically we do a throttling. So same thing is here. Basically you can throttle, like, hey, how fast, like if you have a 1 megabit or 10 megabit network, or whatever your setting are, you can actually set it up here. Or you can do it all the time, or you can do it during the time. So I'm going to cancel this thing right here. I'm sorry, when you do a during when you want to specify the time, that's what the same thing. When you are configuring the backup, it's the same setting basically. So there is nothing special. Just to know, hey, when we have a tape backup job, we have an option for a to encrypt network traffic based on a source and target IP address. And let's see here. I'm gonna cancel this thing. I wanna make a point. And I'm sorry. Make a point is when you click on networks, you can actually select the networks, and you can click on add. The point is the things need to be remembered is by default it's not checked. You know, you have to actually click on it to make it work. So I'm going to cancel this one. Cancel this one. I'm sorry. I'm going to click on next. It says review, and the tape server is assuming, hey, you have a tape server right here. So this is a server running on a VMware, and the following component will be processed in backup server. The transport is already exist, and tape proxy will be installed. Um, Even though I don't have a tape attached to the server, I can still go through with this on the wizard. So the important point is, hey, installing package Veeam tape MSI, and then say deleting temp folder, whatever it created, and registering this server. We have the only one backup server for package transport, registering backup server for package tape proxy, discovering installed packages, and then you can see a required package. All required packages have been successfully installed, starting the tape service owner, and actually you can see the database record and creating configuration database, collecting tape info, and tape server created successfully, even though I don't have a physical tape connected to it. So I'm gonna say okay, finish, and it says start tape libraries in inventory when I finish. So it's doing a discovering a tape library. I'm pretty sure it's gonna fail because there is nothing. So this one was add a tape server, and the next one is file to tape jobs. You can actually archive files and folder. You can select individually or using the file masks to tape from any shared or managed server. For Windows Server, the job can optionally use Microsoft VSS for consistent backup. So VSS is the volume snapshot of file in use by running application. So if the file is in use, it will just take a it's snapshot. What basically snapshot does it actually, what, right here, one of the question in exams perspective is they're going to ask you actually which the applications use a Microsoft VSS. They're going to give you a bunch of examples. They're going to say, hey, there's Exchange server, there's the Active Directory server, there's a MySQL, and there is a SQL server. So you need to know, hey, which one is using a Microsoft VSS. Basically, all the Microsoft product is using. So the MySQL will not use VSS. So these are the file to tape. Let's see what does it do. Click here. Um, Specify files and folder to be backed up by this job. You click here, and we can take our backup. Um, so this is the backup job. I'm gonna click OK. I'm gonna click next, and it says media pool for full backup. So we can create a media pool one, for example, and then it's gonna ask for a tape library. So if you click OK, tape, we don't have a tape library. So um, unfortunately, I don't have it. And I cannot. It will still let me. So it's creating a media set, and a never overwrite data. So you have like a few options. Do not protect data, overwrite tape at required, protect data for whatever weeks, and then it will overwrite it, or never overwrite data. So you have these three options. And then you have offline media tracking, move all offline tape from the media pool into the following media vault. You can create a vault. Um, so here we just created a media vault. Right here it says enable parallel processing for tape jobs using the media pool. Right here, you can select the job pointed to the media pool can use up to 2 tape drives simultaneously, or whatever number of you know number you select. And it says enable parallel processing of backup chain within a single tape job. Um, so what they're explaining is backup to tape job populated with multiple primary backup jobs with jobs or with a job using per VM. So this is kind of you're gonna see questions coming. If you have a job using per VM backup file contains file chain will process separate chain in parallel using one media set per tape drive. And here you can enable encryption, and you can add the encryption password if you want to. Uh, Configuration backup is disabled for security purposes. Please configure encryption in the configuration backup setting before enabling it. Then you can create. Next. And right here is the media pool. Use Microsoft VSS or use a media automation. These are the standard setting actually. Whenever the tape job is done, you can eject the tape. Export current media set upon job completion. You can export it after what number of days you want. I'm sorry, on days you want. And if you click here, advanced, hey, same thing is they send an email, and right here use the compression, use hardware compression when available. And this thing is also the important to know when you setting up a backup jobs. And in the backup job you can enable compression. So which compression will take effect, or which will supersede. So by default, the hardware compression, when available, will supersede. And these are the same other the scripts if you need it. I think we went through with this thing. So I'm gonna repeat myself again here. Hey, compression is a hardware compression is used first. If this thing is checked by default. Um, and also the hardware compression, you saw that it's um, under advanced and under advanced and advanced. And you can run this job. So I click up here and say, so where is going to, by the way, it's going to C program file backup Veeam backup. This is the Veeam backup manager. And we're gonna go through what is a media pool, because there are 4 things you need to know from exam perspective. Um, okay, so this one is, we just set up it's gonna fail because we don't have the tape, so which is fine. It's just for testing anyway. So that was the file to tape. You have a backup to tape. So backup to tape jobs are archive Veeam backup files to tape. So whatever the um, the backup jobs are under C backup, Veeam backup, this job, you can actually archive it to the tape. and a um, unlike like the files to tape, the difference is between backup to tape. It says right here, unlike file to tape jobs, meaning this thing, these jobs track specific VM restore points on tape and provide full integration with backup jobs. So that's the difference between the two. For example, um, a backup to tape job can be configured to auto start as soon as the corresponding backup jobs completes. Just like a replication job, which can be dependent on a backup job. The same way you can create the backup to tape jobs. And you can make it dependent on backup jobs. As soon as the backup job is complete, then it can copy it, or to the tape. And so basically the first three options are, um, basically two options are, the first one is to add the tape. The two options are to do a backup file to tape or backup to tape, and the rest two options are a restore file from the tape. So right here, file to tape, and this is kind of backward, file from tape, and it says there are two ways to restore files from the tape. Launch the designated wizard using a corresponding home toolbar button, or if you click here, and then you can add. It doesn't have anything. Otherwise, you can actually object to restore. You can select it, and the second option is restore virtual machine from the tape. Um, we don't have the tape, so it's not gonna be successful anyway. You know. Um, So right here it's saying a select virtual machine to be restored. You can add individual virtual machines from the backup files or container from the live environment, and the container will automatically expand it into plain VM list. So let's try it. Let's try from the backup list. So this was the file. Next, restore to the original position and restore to the new location. And right here is the so these are the options by default selected. Restore VM logs. I select this option to restore restore VM tags as restore VM tags that were assigned to the VM when backup was taken. And the second option is the quick rollback, restore change blocks only, meaning whatever the changes are, meaning it's say allow for quick VM recovery in case of guest OS software problem. Um, or user error. Do not use this option when recovering from disaster caused by hardware or storage issues or a power loss. So basically what they're saying is, hey, use this quick rollback option if if something is wrong with the Windows, or a user did something, but says if you have a disaster caused by hardware failure or storage causes, or because of the power loss, then don't use this the quick option. So when I click on next, it's gonna say kind of loading. Let's see. Yeah, retrieving existing storage policies, and then it's gonna say, hey, what is the store? We're gonna say, hey, this is a test, and click next, verifying VMs, and it's gonna say, hey, one or more restored VM are still powered on. During the restore, this VM will be powered off. So if you are restoring to the original location and the VM is powered on, um, what it's going to do is going to turn that machine off. So if I click OK, the following existing VM will be deleted from the infrastructure. So it said, hey, actually it's not going to power off. It's going to delete it. You want to do that? So what I'm going to say, you know what? No, I don't want to delete it actually at this point. Um, Actually, you know what? We already have a backup, so why not? Um, So let's see. Please review the restore setting before continuing. The restore process will begin after you click finish. So far, nothing is done. Navigate to the corresponding restore session under history node to monitor the process. So basically what it's saying is proxy is automatic selection because we have only one. Original VM is CTI SF-01. New VM name gonna be the same thing. Restore point less than a day old. And the target host is one of those the ESXi, and a target resource pool, and the target folder, because this machine is under we call it the Citrix resource pool, just to isolate those machines. Target database is the HX is our data store, and the network mapping is the we have a VLAN 222. I can go ahead and say power on the VM after restoring. Let's see what does it do. So this machine is powered on, shutting it down. And 7 files to restore, or restoring blah blah blah. So he deleted the files. There were no tags to restore. Preparing for virtual machine. Preparing for virtual disk restore. Um, and I'm going to show you this thing right here while this thing is doing it. You can see right here, this was the machine. It got powered off. So it's creating virtual machine snapshot, um, initiate guest OS shutdown, reconfigure virtual machine from the actually this is the backup server. So let's see here. This machine is powered off. Is being restored actually. So it's only 56 seconds. So this should go pretty fast because even though this is a 100 GB C drive and it is a thin provision, so it is a server 2012 R2 with a the storefront, the Citrix storefront software installed on it. So it's a thin provision, so that's why I thought the whole machine was from 7.6 or something gig. So let's see. Maybe it's gonna restore the whole machine, regardless how much data is there. But you can see that this one is like is doing pretty good, like 137 meg. I mean, it's not bad. Okay, see this one is powering on the machine. and it restored completed successfully. And that machine is restored. So what we can do it actually, we can go under backup and replication right here. This is the same machine. So what I can do, I can try taking another snapshot. So if the machine was, completely removed and re-added, if it's the same machine, everything is same. Our previously configured backup should work perfectly. That's the actually kind of ultimate test. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to just pause the recording. Okay, as you can see it after a minute and a half, restoring that machine. Come on, it's 90%, 99% done. So, um, okay, it's done. And stop is successful. The last result is successful. So basically, we were able to restore virtual machine from tape. Actually, we did not restore it from a tape. And the reason we were able to do it, if we read this thing right here, the Veeam backup and replication can perform full VM restore directly from tape or via a staging repository. So in this case, we have the staging repository. We don't have the tape drive. So even though we said, hey, restore from tape, it restored it from the staging repository. Um, what what they're saying it is like right here. That's the staging repository. And it is recommended when restoring multiple VMs. We had only one VM from the same backup file chain. Um, like if you have a one backup job, for example, and you have a multiple VMs, so it considered like same backup chain. To perform other restore types from the tape instant VM recovery, guest files, and application item, use the restore backup from tape to repository wizard. Um, to copy the required backup files from tape, then initiate the desired restore from the disk. So, so guys, as you can see it, I mean, honestly, I think, and most of us will never use the tape option unless you have a company which is still using the tape. This is still, for a compliance purposes, is like you have a company, then they want to save data to a tape drive and take the tape drives to a offsite. And also, I don't know if you guys know or not, like in the state of Florida, I think if I'm not mistaken, they have a rule like you have to back up and keep all the patient record, for example, especially for hospitals from birth to death plus 20 years. So normally it's like for 100 years, you know. So that's why in some cases the people are using tape backup because it's cheaper option. Um, and we're gonna go. Let me clear this thing. Okay, so I'm gonna show you a couple of things actually, a couple of documents um, from Veeam. The documents were right here. Right here. So this thing is coming straight from the Veeam.com, and here these guys talk about is a native support, and right here this is a version 9.5, and they have some changes into this one. You can see this one. This is a flexible long-term retention, which is if they say it has been enhanced. Um, so now they are saying a Veeam provide native tape support for both automated, including VLT and standalone tape drives. And it also does it a advanced tape functionality for enterprises, including parallel processing, which we have seen it. It does it a native GFS, grandfather, father, son retention, global media pool, and a like easier management and advanced archiving option, which is the standard. Um, the improvement in 9.5 is like efficiently archive multiple backup files to tape at once using the same media pool. So basically, you can use the same media pool for multiple backup files. Here is saying the reduce tape consumption, but maintain the long retention policies with dedicated media pool. So you see the terms they are using actually like a media pool. They're gonna say, hey, what is media pool? So we're gonna get to this one because from a exam perspective, they're gonna be asking you, hey, what is media pool, for example, and what is grandfather father son retention policy? Obviously, everybody knows about that, and you can select multiple files or folders simultaneously to get your data to tapes even faster with the less efforts, which is new. It's compared to 9.0. So this is the one I was telling you about. In the 9.9.0, you didn't have this option. So in 9.5, this is new. So it says normally if you need to restore files from tape, you first need to restore Veeam backup from the tape to the Veeam repository for staging. But now they're saying now the VM restores move directly from tape to a primary VM environment, saving time and blah blah blah. And here they're talking about the parallel processing, and they're talking about the global media pools. Um, and there are a lot of details. As long as you know, like you can click on it right here, and you can read it if you want.
BFS. Now Veeam.
Which I'm not gonna run it, but it's just the option is right here. It's from the game itself. You know, come on. Yeah, it's kind of slow. So, okay, guys. The other thing I want to talk about the tape device. If you go to a helpcenter.veeam.com, you can see this link, and this link has a lot of useful information. So if we go down here under a tape device support, you click on the tape device support, and it's going to give you this bunch of options, and everything and anything you need to know about tape devices is right here. um, you remember that we talked about like 3-2-1 backup approach. basically 3 copies, 2 type of media, and 1 off-site location is considered the best practice. And and it's going to be a question in exam, possibly, hey, what is 321 means, and they're going to try to mislead you, with multiple choices. So you need to know what 321 is. It's 3 copies, 2 type of media, and 1 off-site. And as you can see it under the subtopic, it's a lot actually. And the funny thing is, um, you need to know. If you don't need to remember everything, but you need to go through with all of these materials here. For example, it says here later topics, supported device and configuration. You click here, and it's going to give you a supported connection type basically. And this is also pretty important. Like the supported type connection. Um, See right here, they might ask you this thing here. The Veeam backup replication does not support using warm write once, read many tapes. So if they give you the option, hey, there is a tape which is going to take benefit or not. So we know for sure, hey, this thing it does not support. And also the other thing need to remember is right here. Veeam Backup uses a MTF. What is MTF? MTF is Microsoft Tape Format, industry format to write data to tape. This is extremely important to remember. They might ask you this thing, they might not, but I have seen this thing in a Veeam practice test. And under, we talked about it under you can connect the tape device directly or remotely. So if you are connecting it directly, then you have 3 options right here. Number 1 is the FC, the fiber channel. Number 2 is a serial attach, which is SAS or SCSI, and actually SAS. And the third one is SCSI. And remote connections are always iSCSI. So this is pretty important to remember. Tape devices can be connected directly and remotely. Directly connected, then it's going to use these 3 options, and a remotely is only iSCSI. Sometimes I don't remember it actually. There's so much stuff, but let's see. And here's the data block size. And in this one, you need to remember is what is a unified block size. So if you use tape library with multiple drives or number of standalone drives, Veeam Backup uses a unified block size or write data to tapes. Let's see here. So the block size is unified for all drives in one library, all standalone drives connected to one tape server. I think for this topic, that's all we need to remember. And this is the second topic under the tape environment. So you can see it, to manage a tape to a tape backup and restore procedure, you must add a tape server to your Veeam backup and replication console. If you don't have the tape server, nothing will work. Adding the tape server to the backup infrastructure makes possible to transfer data between the disk storage and the tape drives. So that's what they're saying. This is the Veeam backup server. This is its database, and this is your backup repository. This is the Windows or Linux server. This is your tape server. and this is another tape server. Right here it says a Veeam backup server. So the Veeam backup server is a server running Veeam backup and replication, just like the server we are on. It is the core component of the backup infrastructure. We know that. The Veeam backup server tasks include the following operations. It recognizes all tape devices that are connected to it and is able to manage all drives, slots, and tapes. Administering tape archiving, scheduling, and triggering tape jobs, and initializing restore tasks, and communicating to the Veeam backup data store. You can see there's a tape device, tape server, Veeam backup database, tape catalog is your choice if you want to read it is right here. And the tape device deployment, there are different scenario how you can connect. If you have a Veeam backup server here, there's a tape server, then you need a data mover service here, data mover service here. Data mover service is what is data mover service? Data movers are lightweight services that take a few seconds to deploy. Deployment is fully automated. When you assign a tape server role to a server, Veeam backup and replication install a necessary component on the server and start the required services. So it's kind of automated. And then it will talk about like connecting devices. How do you connect the device? This is using the SCSI one. I'm going to go quickly on this one, otherwise this is going to take forever. Is this adding tape server, removing tape server, updating tape server, rescanning tape drive, modifying. You have all the information you need. Working with tape libraries, what kind of tape libraries you have, what kind of hardware is supported, and the same thing is like here as how you're gonna do inventory, cataloging, working with tapes, then the media pools. So then the question they're gonna ask you is what is media pool? Really, they're gonna ask you. So they're gonna give you a scenario, and you have to you have to either pick which one is what. So media pools are logical container created in the Veeam backup and replication to organize and administrate tapes. You can read a lot more on this one. And actually, but one thing they're going to ask you, what is media pool, right? So media pool is a logical container. Then they're going to ask you, what is media set, right? So media, you can say a media set is a set of tapes used for continuously writing backup data. And then they're going to ask you actually, what you call it, what is the backup sets? So you need to know the difference between what you call it, the media sets, backup sets, tape media pool. So right here, what are the backup sets? When the tape job runs, it's analyze disk storage and spot files that match the tape job parameter. So what does it do? The tape job queue the files and writes them to a tape. The set of files that are archived to tape within one tape job session is the backup set. Go figure. I just read it. And then it's like what is service media pools, and then simple media pool. Then they call it a GFS, grandfather, father, son. So basically, there is a lot to go through, and you don't have to remember everything. Just remember the key points, and that's all. So what I'm going to do I'm going to take this thing off here because we have a lot more actually. So this one, oh holy cow, it's 44 minutes. So what basically we're going to do, I think I'm going to end this video here, and in the next video, I'm going to, because we went through the backup replication, all these options right here, the backup infrastructure right here, the virtual machines, you know, and a storage infrastructure and tape libraries, and you have the files too. Uh, but what I'm trying to say is we just covered a little bit about VMware. We did not cover anything for Microsoft Windows. The Hyper-V, because I don't have the Hyper-V yet, because I don't want to do a nested hypervisor because I'm running VMware. I mean, I can run a 2012 R2 servers and enable a Hyper-V on it. But it's going to be like a nested one. When you run on a VMware and then you create VMware is already hypervisor, you want to install a server and enable a Hyper-V role. So that's, we can do it. There's a trick to it, but I will see if I have a couple of Hyper-V servers with a Hyper-V role installed, a physical server, so we can add them here and we'll see where we go from there. Hey, I'm gonna end this video here, and I do appreciate for you guys taking the time watching this video. And again, if you like it, please subscribe to my channel. And thank you.